Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching, and always encouraging your self-reliance in your life and career. If you will set a goal for yourself, develop a marketable skill, develop some people skills and communication skills, be a team player, your life and career will take off like you've never could possibly believe. A big thank you to over 430 people that have subscribed to this channel, Playing It Forward Coaching. If you haven't already, please do so. I'm really excited to have a young man here, Mr. Fabian, who's going to tell us a little bit about his work over there at Northeastern High School, how he's helping a lot of kids in the various career directions. So welcome, Mr. Fabian, and fire away.
Thank you, Mr. Law, or Tim. I guess we never really addressed how I should address you, but yes. So I am the College and Career Advisor at Northeastern High School. My role it's pretty much to help students, specifically seniors, figure out what their post-secondary goals are. So that can be anything with college, trade school. Under the college spectrum, it could be a 2-year, 4-year college. It can be can be community college. For trade schools, any sort of trade you're trying to pursue, my job is to help you figure out how to go about the steps, what procedures you have to take, basically the whole 9 yards of anything you want to achieve. And the same goes for tech schools, the military especially too. We work hand in hand with the military. So I work under the Pennsylvania College Advising Corps, which has been around for, don't take my word for it, but I think 14 years now. Mm-hmm. We just got a new director this year by the name of 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼. And she's the second director ever to be with the PCAC, because before that, we had a man by the name of Bob, who we like to say is the OG. He was part of PCAC from the start, and he just recently retired. So I happened to come in through a transition period, and it doesn't really change anything about PCAC at all, other than, there's different leadership. We have 3 and plus 1 honorary member in the admin team. There's Julia Lake, Amanda Lowe, and Tiffany Lopez. And then we have a former assistant principal John Felix. I'm not sure if you've heard of that name before, but he's pretty well known in the Lancaster, York area. Mm-hmm. And so we consist of 30 advisors across Pennsylvania. For me, I'm based at Northeastern High School, where we're partnered with a few others across PA. Mm-hmm. I know some of them are, there's Solanco High School, Palks. There's trying to think of some others. We tend to travel. We branch out to Pittsburgh, Philly area, NEPA, Northeastern PA around mm-hmm. Scranton, and I will definitely say to give a full disclosure, even though we are under the same umbrella, the experience for each advisor is different. So I will say that I'm only speaking for myself only. Mm-hmm. As the experiences across the sure. board do vary.
Yeah. And where's the headquarters at for this, Mr. Fabian?
We are based at Franklin and Marshall College in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Gotcha, that's where we're F&M employees first, and okay. then we are employee of the high school that we work for respectively. Okay. Well,
that's great. And so basically, you help people with all different directions as far as career choices and everything along those lines.
Yes.
That's the main idea. Yeah.
That is the main idea.
And tell us a little bit about your background, Mr. Fabian. I know, as far as where you went to school and that kind of thing.
Yes. So one thing I forgot to mention, as I was explaining more about PCAC, our main mission is to help low-income first-generation students who wish to pursue a post-secondary education. But over the years, we have branched out into a more of a broader goal. Mm-hmm. We still look to help primarily low-income first-generation students that have never went to college or don't know how to go about post-secondary goals after high school.
Sure.
So That being said, I myself was a low-income first-generation student. I graduated from Susquehanna University with a bachelor's in communications and an emphasis on sports media. I also minored in Italian, and I do speak 3 languages because growing up, coming from a Dominican household, I was basically learning both English and Spanish as I was growing up. So I used that advantage to learn a 3rd language while, during my time in Susquehanna. I did quite a lot there from my freshman year to senior year. I started off, with my foot on the pedal. I was getting involved left and right, just like as I was in high school. In high school, I was a triathlete. I was with the Interact Club. I was part of student council. I also was part of theater and music. So I was in the choir. I did musicals, you name it. I was the jack of all trades in high school. And one thing I found out that in college, it's a little different. There's a lot more things that require more time commitment. And eventually you'll find that throughout college, you have to narrow down your extracurriculars and, prioritize what's healthy for your health, especially.
Sure.
I did quite a bit at Susquehanna. I can give you a whole scroll of, different activities I've taken part of, still am with. So yeah.
What you said you were a triathlete when you were in high school. What sports? Because as a coach myself, I'm always curious about that.
I played football in the fall. I was a wrestler in the spring, and I did track and field. I was a thrower in the spring.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I have a long wrestling background too. I didn't know that about you, that you had been involved with that, with the sport of wrestling, and just kind of a great group of people that are in that wrestling community. That's for sure, no question. Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Fabian. What kind of life lessons from sport and involved in all these extracurricular activities, staying as active as you've been, and it's something I certainly encourage, kids to do, get involved in as many things in high school as you possibly can. What were some of the life lessons you learned by being involved with so many activities?
Well, one thing's for certain is that I learned that, being involved is really good, but also making sure you're able to handle all those extracurriculars is also a thing. For me, I was constantly on the go. I was usually getting home somewhere between 6 to 10 p.m. depending on the season. If we're talking about the winter when musical starts, usually I would be getting home late, and that's from just obviously school, afterwards wrestling, and then doing a musical practice. At some point I did prioritize theater over wrestling, just because it was becoming overwhelming. And as you become a varsity athlete, the time commitment becomes a little more demanding.
Sure.
So I do advise students that if you ever want to, juggle, say, marching band and a choir, just make sure everything is within a good time frame, that you have time to eat, that you're not overworking yourself, because I know how that's like very, very well. And sometimes people, they like to say that they feed off that. They feed off being busy all the time, but what they don't realize is it really does take a toll, especially on your mental energy, not even just physical. I mean, you may be in the best shape of your life, but it's really up in the brain of, do you feel sane with yourself?
Yeah.
Other advice I would give is that, yes, do get involved, put yourself out there. That especially if you're one to pursue college, or even a 2-year college, I highly recommend you do get involved. For athletes, it keeps you disciplined. It makes it easy to commit to your extracurriculars. It overall builds character. For me, I don't think I'd be the person I am today without the sports I've done. On top of the 3 sports I mentioned with football, wrestling, and track, I also did rugby in college.
Okay.
So I definitely kept my I stayed active even after high school. So that was an important part of my life that helped me be the person that I am today. It kept me disciplined.
Sure. No, it makes a lot of sense, and some great advice there. Now, if the kids want to contact you, and please stick around afterwards, Mr. Fabian. just chat for a minute or two. If people want to contact you, in Northeastern High School, where should they go? Email address, phone number, whatever. What would you suggest as far as the best way for them to reach you?
I try to make it as easy as possible for students and even parents to reach out to me. I give them options. It's not what the best option is, it's how many options there are. So you can stop by my office. It's located in the main office of the high school. You can also call my office number. I know the school has a specific phone number, and then there's an extension. Mine would be 81006. Or you can email me through school email or through Schoology, which I find students are utilizing a lot. And so those are all the ways you can get a hold of me: in person, over the phone, virtually, over email. I'll make it as easy as possible for everyone to get a hold of me.
Well, that's super. And another contact or connection you and I have, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, is some guy named Sam Seidel. I guess you were an RA for him or something up there in Susquehanna?
That is correct. Yes, I was an RA at Susquehanna. During Sam Seidel's freshman year, I was his RA. That was during my senior year. And he was a really great resident. I got to meet Dr. Seidel at that time without even knowing that she was the superintendent of Northeastern. But I do have to say, it is funny how things go full circle.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Dr. Seidel's son's RA would end up being the college and career advisor at the school she oversees? Like, there's not really much words for it other than excitement. Dr. Seidel and I, we crossed paths several times, and the first time when we got the chance to reintroduce ourselves after a year and a half, because of the pandemic, we were very excited. It was very nice to see her again. Yeah.
Well, and as I said, Sam and his brother Seth both played tennis for me, and they both were outstanding soccer kids as well. So I want to throw that little connection in there that when you told me that you've been his RA and everything, that's fantastic. So, well, any last second things, Mr. Fabian? And please stick around afterwards. We'll chat for a minute.
No, nothing else. I mean, as long as everyone knows how to get a hold of me, I'm always willing to chat. I'm a very open book. And I feel like I have a lot of life advice to offer. I know growing up as a first generation low income student, I did not get the help that I'm able to offer to students today. So I just want to give back to those, even if it's not part of my community. If I'm part of any community, I just want to help it in any way that I can.
Sure. Well, sounds fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We will chat here on the other side, and I appreciate your great input. Thank you.
Thank you.